Good morning. I'm Randy Horton, Chief Solutions Officer from Orthogonal. We are coming to you here in Anaheim Convention Center where MD&M West is going on. And this is the MedTech Spotlight Live. Our goal here is to bring you some of the best opinions and ideas of people who are coming around here, since you can't attend the conference. And even if you do, you probably can't talk to everybody who's at the conference. So our guest right now is Mark Omo from Marcus Engineering. Mark, welcome. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Hey, my name's Mark. I'm the Director of Engineering at Marcus Engineering, and we're a full service product development firm. So we make med devices that you can touch, things within software and hardware, connected devices, IoT, brain analyzers, all kinds of fun stuff. So
Any particular kinds of devices or spaces within MedTech that you guys specialize?
yeah, we specialize mainly in smaller embedded devices, low power devices. We do lots of commercialization of research, things like that. So novel research, novel techniques, different stuff. We do a lot of medical device security, especially for embedded devices, especially for embedded devices, high devices with a large attack surface that need to be very secure.
All right, so let's talk about that, because we work on software as a medical device, and obviously everybody building devices that have a chip in them are spending a lot more time these days worrying about cybersecurity.
Oh, yeah.
Because now the government's forcing it. They've upped their game. So talk to us about what you're seeing in 2025 with that. What are the trends you've got going on with hardware cybersecurity?
Yeah. So I think it's still, like a lot of industries, it's still pretty emerging, especially in the hardware space. Lots of people have very old devices that they've been updating for years, and all of a sudden there's this whole new set of regulations. They got to redesign their device. One of the biggest things that drives cybersecurity for devices you can touch and wear and move around is you need to be able to update them. So for cybersecurity, it's an evolving, it's a moving target. Every day what's secure may not be secure the next day. And that's especially true for hardware. But the problem is, we might be able to make software updates, but we got to get that out all into the field. So that drives the device design, the power, the software, the connectivity. It can often reshape how your device looks.
So are you seeing new and different approaches to tackling that and bringing cybersecurity, or is it just mostly existing best practices and now you've just got more clients lining up for it, or clients, more engaged in the process?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. Lots of legacy devices that need much more robust security. And then it's, when we're designing new devices, making different decisions. So things that may not have been connected before, now they need to be connected. So we might as well add these other features because we get them for free. We see new stuff coming down, like there's the new post-quantum encryption requirements, which are really going to start driving devices, especially devices, because they have such a long lifetime in the market. We need to design for that stuff to be ready in 5 years when those regulations come down.
Right. And as I understand it, that's basically saying that bad actors may get a hold of your data now, and they can't decrypt it right now, but once quantum computers are around, they will be able to. So we need to start doing special algorithms to encrypt them now that will prevent them in the future from taking the data that they've currently stolen but can't get into and get into it down the road.
Yeah. So there's this, what you're talking about is this capture now, decrypt later risk. And so NIST, the National Institute for Standards Technology, is actually, you are required by the FDA to follow their recommendations. And so they recommend that you be ready for that kind of attack and all of this post-quantum, all the stuff that we're going to be able to do with that's going to affect our current encryption by 2030. That's when we need to start flipping the switch. But the problem is the median age of medical devices with software and hardware is actually 12 years. So your devices on the market today are going to need to comply, and everything you make today is going to need to comply well in the future.
Very good. So if you're talking to a prospective customer and they ask, well, is it going to cost me more now because I have to do these cybersecurity things than it did before? And how much more is it going to take me longer? Is that a fallacy? Is that true? Is it just different about when you spend the time and the money?
Yeah, I think it's kind of both. Nowadays, if cybersecurity is not something that's important, like let's imagine there was no such regulation, it went away tomorrow, it would still be a huge business risk. Acts of hospitals have been increasing massively, more than 15 times in the last 10 years. Hospital breaches reportable to the HHS have increased. And so now the data, the information, the productivity is so valuable that to hackers, everything is a target. And that wasn't the case many years ago. And so that's part of why the cost of devices have increased, is because there's this whole wealth of connected devices, things we can attack.
Very good. Very good. And so what advice would you have to companies that are building a device? Well, let's take it 2 steps. First of all, you have a company that's got a device, it operates in a clinic or a hospital, and it's 9, 10, 12 years old. What should they be thinking about or doing, or what should they have already done? And if they haven't, they need to get on it today.
Yeah, so they should have already come into compliance with the current regulations, and that can often be a big lift. We've seen that drive the new generation of devices, sometimes prematurely, sometimes just setting those requirements, because everybody needs to comply with the regulations no matter what. Even if you haven't done a 510K, you need to comply with the post-market regulations, which really require that your whole device is secure. And similarly, when you're making those devices, if you're not thinking about the security in the beginning, it is going to drive your device. It might not drive it in the beginning, but it'll drive it at the end, where it's most expensive to redesign, replace, redevelop, recertify, all that stuff.
You'll eventually pay.
Oh, yes. Oh, you'll definitely pay.
And do you pay something now or more later and defer the pay and kick the can down the road?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But now it's sort of illegal to kick the can down the road, right?
Yep. The FDA leads cybersecurity in the world, which is really an amazing thing versus the EU and the rest of the world, which is coming up to that level.
Got it. Very good. I'm hearing the band now. They just kicked off the conference with a marching band or something. All right. So one last thing to wrap up. Name one thing that somebody listening to this should make a point to read, listen to, or watch to educate themselves in our industry right now. What's something, a good resource, a good article, good book, good podcast?
Yeah. So at Marcus Engineering, we ourselves, and we work with a bunch of other great creators to do webinars on all these topics. We just did one on cybersecurity. I'm doing a talk today on the basics of how cybersecurity regulations affect your product. So we encourage you guys to follow us and to look at that stuff. And I always encourage people to open the regulation and read it yourself. It's not as hard as you think, and it really is the source of truth.
Final question. How many times have you been to Anaheim?
I have. I think this is my 4th or 5th time, not that many.
Have you gone to Disneyland yet?
I've definitely gone to Disneyland.
All right, good for you. All right. Well, thank you very much.